This is the Criterion Creeps podcast, and tonight we're talking about the second half of the Monsters and Madmen for Thrilling Tales of Inner Torments in Outer Space box set.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like a lifetime ago, RJ, since we discussed the first two runaway smash successes.
I didn't think this was a box set.
Remember that first man in space?
Neil Armstrong?
Into space. Remember that? Yeah, remember Neil Armstrong? He came back as a muck man. Remember the atomic submarine, not to be confused with the haunted submarine?
I know, I saw a movie called Hunter Killer. That was about a submarine. Is that kind of...
Haunted Killer.
Haunted Killer? Is that kind of the same thing? Or
Well, what do you know about Haunted Stranglers?
I don't know, because I find it confusing, because there's 3 titles for potential movies.
Are you aware of the third title?
Oh, I'm aware, baby.
Yeah, you're aware of the Judas Hole? Not to be confused with the Gowron Hole.
I mean, I don't think this movie would fit as the Judas Hole.
No, not at all.
But I would like any movie to be called the Judas Hole.
Yeah.
But about something else. Do you
fair.
know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's where you keep your silver.
I would keep something there.
Okay.
I do prefer Haunted Strangler, though.
Yeah. What about Grip of the Strangler?
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't think it doesn't have the gravitas.
I've always known it as the Haunted Strangler because of this box set. That's what it says right on the cover. It's way better. And so, yeah, folks, we're talking about the Haunted Strangler, and we're talking about Corridors of Blood, all from 1958.
Mm-hmm. So, actually, it's really weird. At the start of the month, because we knew we were talking about these, I put Haunted Strangler, Corridors of Blood in my Creeptober list.
Yep.
And they only, the poster was Haunted Strangler, and it was that in title, and then Letterboxd changed it like a week or two ago. Because it was 2 months ago or something that it had Haunted Strangler, and I was like, what is this just bouncing around titles? What is this?
It's those gatekeepers over at the movie database.
God damn it. Well, when are you going to get in there and
fuck them up?
Change things.
Yeah.
Change
things from the inside.
Mm.
Nah, we're good.
Okay.
So anyway, I'd say that, the first half of that box set didn't leave a lot to be desired. It's kind of nothing going on with those. So we're going to check out and find out if the second half redeems itself or not. We'll find out. So first up, we got The Haunted Strangler. Tagline for this film: wow, King of the Monsters, Karloff in his new horror.
Godzilla?
Yes, right.
Godzilla is here?
Boris Karloff is Godzilla.
Man, I missed that. That sucks.
So what's this new horror all about? A researcher investigating a notorious serial killer who was hanged 20 years earlier seemingly becomes possessed by the long-dead Strangler?
Seemingly. Wait, that's a spoiler.
Well, seemingly.
But the possession alone, that's kind of a spoiler, no?
That's the twist.
I mean,
so we've been talking about horror movies for some time now. So let's push our way through this one, all right?
Okay.
So anyways, this opens up with a man who gets hanged. He gets hung. And he's seeing, I'm innocent. Oh, dead. Ka-chunk.
Yeah, he dies already.
End of the rope. So all's well as ends well, because we all know that only guilty men get executed.
That is what they tell you.
So anyway, we got this Boris Karloff guy. Everyone knows and loves old Boris, the Frankenstein himself. He's playing a guy named James Rankin, who is noted here, a social reformer. He's like one of those guys in a true crime documentary who's running around and trying to get guilty people out of jail. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Innocent people who have been put into jail. Wink.
I see.
This movie's got some interesting politics. Because it's like, wait, why is this guy the bad guy? Why is this? Because he's a do-gooder. And I wonder, well, obviously there's a lot of innocent people who get put into jail. And this is a guy who's like setting up a rallying cry. He wants to open up a case. It's an old case. He's like, I want to open it up again. He's going to get some pushback from the powers that be. And they're like, what are you trying to do here, Boris? Trying to prove a man who was found guilty by his peers. And he's like, but we didn't look at the evidence closely. Because this is also Victorian era London. Old-timey. They didn't even have DNA yet.
Did this guy have a podcast? About his TruthNet stuff?
He definitely would have.
You think so?
Yeah. How many podcasters are running around like digging up bodies and just like playing around in their bones, finding knives, and then becoming possessed?
I mean, I know of at least one.
Yeah.
That does. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know the one?
Yeah. Looking at him. Hey, you know about Judas holes?
Why don't you tell me about the Judas hole?
Well, apparently the Judas hole, there's a lot of can dancing. You know, you know about the can?
Yeah, we watched that movie once, the French can. Do you remember?
Uh-huh.
That was a movie we watched, right?
It was. It was awful. I hate it.
Some would say.
I hate that guy, Renoir.
Others
hate that man.
love it.
So anyway, during the course of this investigation, there's a lot of cross referencing and going back and doing some interviews with witnesses. We're introduced to a bunch of ladies. There's lots of gams. I feel like this film's not all on the up and up. I feel like it's trying to entice people back in 1958 times, being like, hey, you like beautiful ladies? Well, they're going to be dancing, but they got spunk. They got character, and we're gonna have like some backstage music hall back and forths, which, like, I don't know. Anyway,
kinda?
Yeah, kind of. Or is it loose women? Where
did you see that?
Huh?
Who's talking about loose women?
On Wikipedia, actually. I noted this. Yes, there's loose women here. They're the women that are willing to have sex with them, not much coaxing. Can you believe it?
I can. I didn't think that was a thing.
No.
Wow.
So anyway, our boy Boris, he's running into problems. He wants to do a proper investigation. The prison warden won't cooperate. He wants to I want to bring out the bones. We're looking for this weapon. It was never found. That's very peculiar. You know about peculiar things, RJ?
Do I? I saw a barbarian.
No.
That was kind of peculiar, no?
Somewhat, not really.
No?
Seemed pretty straightforward to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So anyway, Boris Karloff, he's a loose cannon. He'll you know what? If he wants to dig up a body, he'll just go ahead and do just that. And he goes digging, and he finds this hilariously clean skeleton. It's just there's no dirt on it. It's just it's in the dirt, but it's here it is. He starts moving it around, which is, I think, a detail I appreciated. That it's not this intact skeleton as you move the parts, with all those muscles that have completely been deteriorated, eaten by bugs. But he finds the knife, and as soon as he picks up that knife, he starts to bite his lip, tucks his little arm into a little paralyzed claw hand, and he's holding the knife, and he's and then it turns into Jekyll and Hyde.
His face is real scrunchy.
Real scrunched up. A real big chomp of that lip. He squints his eye, becomes non-verbal, and then he starts killing people. And
I mean, who hasn't been there?
Then you find out. It's because there's some gaps in old Boris's background. His wife then tells him, "Oh yeah, I was a nurse at the mental hospital, and I was like, oh, you seem like a nice insane man. I'm gonna take you home and take care of you, and then marry you, and everything's gonna work out just fine. You're gonna become a novelist and a social reformer, and not even know why. And I'm not gonna tell you this, but you also might have been the strangler."
I mean, that is how it works.
And then it's and he was the strangler, and he doesn't have any recollections of it. And you go,
She reformed him.
But then all it took was one little misstep of digging up a body and picking up the old kill stick. And now you're back to killing women again and whoever you need to.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, he gets just desserts. He gets killed.
Just desserts.
Yeah, because he's got to die. Like we have to because he feels bad about it, but at the same time he can't control the urge. And the knife, he has to pick it up again, and it's like, oh, he can't reform. But
Well,
do
you find reform? Do you think reform is real?
Sure.
Yeah. Have you listened to a System of a Down song ever?
I have not.
About the prison system?
No.
No. Okay.
Would that been as entertaining as the Haunted Strangler?
I mean, I think if this movie included some System of a Down on the soundtrack, that might have pepped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little. I don't know. So tell me more about Haunted Strangler.
I think I just told you the whole movie.
Oh, okay. But what about your opinion, man?
Well, so did you know that this was a double bill with Fiend Without a Face, which we've discussed on this very podcast many years ago?
I didn't, but now I do.
You know, it was double programmed. Which one do you think is better, Fiend Without a Face or the Haunted Strangler?
Fiend Without a Face.
Yeah. The Haunted Strangler I watched for the very first time 11 years ago, and it's pretty boring. Doesn't really go anywhere. Doesn't do anything interesting. Boris Karloff, who's the king of the monsters, as it turns out.
Allegedly.
It says it on the poster. Why would they lie? He is fine in this movie, but there's not much to the story. It's just then that happens. None of the killing is interesting. None of the film is intriguing. It's just there's no mystery other than we're then told this happens and this happens, and then you're like, instead of thinking that he's being possessed by the real killer, it's like, oh no, he is the killer.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then he's on the run, and he's he feels real bad about it. He's trying to get rid of the knife and get better, but it's too late for that. He's assaulting people and then gets shot, and then that's the end of the movie. And then you go, okay. That's a movie that I didn't plan on watching ever again, but I do a podcast where I have to. And
do you? You have a podcast?
I know, right?
I'd love to subscribe to that. Tell me what it's about. You talk about movies? What kind of movies?
Have you heard of a man named John Criterion?
I have, personally.
He has a weird affinity for 1950s obscure horror sci-fi by this company called Amalgamated Productions. So much that he put him out onto DVD, and we get to talk about him.
I mean, I'm the same way, to be honest.
It's crazy. Yeah, so this is a nondescript movie that is harmless but completely not worth watching. There are 100 films probably from the same era that you would watch before this.
Yeah.
Easily. Without so not even this isn't awful, but it's not good.
Boris Karloff is good in this. His crunch face is kind of silly.
Yep.
But it is because you and I watch a good chunk of movies from this era and of the genre. I found this one to be particularly dated in, I don't know, the way people interacted with each other. I was I don't know. There's a lot of other movies from this time that seem I don't want to say timeless, Jarrett, but seem a lot more flexible with even current standard stuff. But sometimes people are talking, I was just I don't know, man. People don't really talk to each other. I was this seems flippy flappy.
Didn't you get caught up in the song and dance number of Cora?
Oh, I hate that shit. I always do. And that's I can't remember. I think Peterson or someone brought it up once. They're should musicals come back? And I was no, I hate that shit. We don't need musicals. And we don't need dance, a dance number is fine in a song, especially when you're showing a club. But
what about La La Land?
It's fine.
What about Chicago, RJ?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, more Chicago, less other musicals. How's that? I don't know. Those sequences weren't really overextended or anything, but when they were on, I just wanted them to be done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was I'd rather not be watching this. I don't know. You get some of the call girl stuff, or not call girl, but like the working girls. You have that guy who declares he's never been drunk and then spills a drink on her exposed breasts, which I found like a strange, like they like really like zoomed in on that. I was like, that's kind of a strange like zoom in for the time, you know. I thought at least.
Gotta quench the thirst of the boys, RJ.
Yeah, that's true. Did you notice in this that Boris Karloff jokerfies someone?
Oh.
He gets that blade like right in the cheek and he jokerfies them, and I was like, holy shit, Karloff lives in a society.
There's somebody who, like, I think one of the movies I watched, someone gets stabbed in the mouth and then they're fine. I don't get that. That's like a new gimmick in movies where people get stabbed in the mouth, but it's like through like cheek to cheek, and then you're just left with a fucking 2 holes in your mouth. But then you're like, oh, that's like a really nasty injury, but you'd survive it. And it's like, you like fuck, like I get paper cuts and I'm in so much pain.
I mean, you could cut off both of your legs and you would survive for a while.
Yeah, right. So
like, I mean, if you didn't treat the huge holes in your mouth, you would die from that too.
Like, well, that's treatable though. I mean, you can continue to run away from things. You can't cut off both legs, RJ. Otherwise, you can't run away from the killer. But you can get stabbed in the face.
2 words: Lieutenant Dan.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was fine. Remember,
his legs got blowed up.
Remember when we thought that he was swimming out to sea to die?
What do you mean we? Do you mean the royal we?
The collective we.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much...
We the viewer.
We the viewer? And then there's Grip of the Strangler.
There's Grip of the Strangler, but Lieutenant Dan, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was kind of lame. I was like, yeah, this is what these movies are, but there's a lot better ones. Like, have you ever seen The Reptile?
I have not.
One day, and then that list will be at 45.
That's right.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, join our Discord.
You will find nothing about it there.
Well, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I threw this on, and it was a nice break. In my Creeptober, and like I like to have an oldie in there. Like, you know, it was a nice. I hadn't had one for a while, so I threw on this bad boy, some Boris Karloff, who I'll talk about more in the next one because he reminds me of a couple people in that one. But Haunted Strangler is a really cool title, and the idea is not bad, but I was left wanting.
Yeah.
You know, Jarrett, I got like 2 cool screenshots from it. But
that's worthwhile right there then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
I don't know. There's not much to discuss about this.
Moving on.
This feels like the sort of thing you just like, you'd be painting minifigs and throw it on Tubi. Then you go, oh yeah, I had it on once. Boris Karloff's like got a nice voice.
Yeah. You say it sure was a Tubi original.
Well, not original. It's just on Tubi, like a Charles Bronson movie. You can watch The Mechanic, I think, still.
On Tubi?
Yeah.
I like that.
There's some sweet Bronson on there.
I like that a lot.
Okay. Well, okay. So anyways, we also got Corridors of Blood.
What a cool title.
AKA Doctor from Seven Dials.
That's not as good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably more descriptive of what this movie might actually be about.
Do you know what the tagline for this film is?
I do not.
It's so good. Tops in terror.
I feel like I'll get to it, but
did you? How many times did you have to like go to the bathroom because you'd shit yourself in terror?
From this movie or in general?
For this movie in particular.
No more than usual, like once every 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, let us read the synopsis of this new peak in terror that apparently Corridors of Blood is. Mm-hmm. An 1840s British surgeon experiments with anesthetics, gases in an effort to make surgery pain-free. While doing so, his demonstration before a panel of his peers ends in a horrific mishap with his patient awakening under the knife. He is forced to leave his position in disgrace. To complicate matters, he becomes addicted to the gases and gets involved with a gang of criminals led by Black Ben and his henchman, Resurrection Joe. So, you know what I thought was missing in Grip of the Strangler? Christopher Lee.
I agree. And although his presence isn't long, it's welcomed in Corridors of Blood.
And appreciated.
And it's appreciated. Yeah.
So, is this a horror movie?
No, I think I think the biggest thing about this is it is a mismarketing, like a marketing mishap. I think the way they handled this is not like, I think this is a cool idea, and I think it's a well put together movie, but it's like shouldn't have been called Corridors of Blood, because it's not a horror movie. It's about this doctor guy.
It's about hospitals or just like blood pouring out because people are getting, legs amputated and arms amputated and like carved up by a man. Yeah. So this movie was also sold as a double bill in the U.S. With an Italian film called Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory.
That's bad. That's a bad. That sounds cool, but
imagine going to the theater. You're like, yes, with your top hat and your cane, going out clothes, and you're like, time to take in a little cinema. Kino.
Ooh. Do you think a better title would have been Corridors of Medical Blood?
Ooh.
Do you think that would have been more accurate?
I'm looking at this poster. So there is Tops in Terror, the newest and most frightening role for Boris Karloff. We also have C. We've got Body Snatchers, Cruel Beauties, Blood Curdling Experiments of Dr. Bolton. Oh no, not Dr. Bolton.
I prefer Corridors of Medical Blood. I think would have really sold it, and that's accurate, and it's not trying to mislead anybody.
Yeah,
I don't like any of those titles.
No,
I think this movie's fine.
Oh yeah, I was going to say this movie's good. I think it is. Okay. So
it's misrepresented.
What is this movie about? So anyway, the movie opens up with a amputation being performed by Boris Karloff, and the man's screaming in agony. His son is along with him. He's apprenticing essentially as a young doctor, learning the trade of being a surgeon, which is a real butchery. There's this big man surgeon who's really indifferent. He's like, I don't understand why you care. It's like, pain comes with the game. There's nothing that can be done about it. But the other thing's like, I don't know why you go and help poor people. That's not your problem. My favorite type of character. Pompous. So anyway, so he's trying to make an aesthetics essentially, and he's trying to figure it out. And what happens is he starts getting, he's getting the medications to do it, and the chemicals and chemistry. But then he winds up making some real knockout gas for himself. Sends him a little loopy, and he becomes a fucking drug addict. And so he's like, try. But he's like a good man, but he just falls down the trap of addiction. It can happen to anybody. And so, he starts making bad decisions. He's coming to work high as a kite, no sleep, floating on cloud 9, and he's going to carve people up. And this is not going unobserved, because there's whole scenes where it's in the kind of the medical operation room. The medical theater, and all these hoople head British doctors are like, yeah, someone's cut off a leg. Good times. It is horrifying in the sense that people suck. But anyways, we also get some body snatcher types. One of them, of course, being played by Christopher Lee, Resurrection Joe. He's cool in this. He feels like he just fell out of a Charles Dickens novel. Absolutely.
Coffin Joe
style.
Yeah.
Then you got Black Ben, and they got there again. A loose woman, of course. You got to throw one of them in there who will pretend to be your friend, and she's coaxing things along, but she's all part of the scam because they want some of them. They want what this doctor can offer. It's good to have a doctor in your back pocket. Because he'll patch you up if someone needs it, or you're like, what kind of chemistry can you do? It's like Breaking Bad, RJ.
What's that?
You can get your guy to make you drugs, sell them.
Is that like a saying? Breaking Bad? I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, you should check it out sometime.
Is that like a verb?
It's a verb.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Got him.
Yeah,
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Keep
So anyway, he winds up getting his career besmirched by his own addictions, and he's like, you got to pack out of here, bud. He's like, you're on suspension. Hand in your medical badge. But he's like, I want to do my work, because of course he wants to make his own drugs still, and he's getting cut off, and so he has to throw in with these hooligans. There's a break-in at the pharmacy. A man is murdered. He's like, what do you gotta go and do that for, man? Why you gotta be like that, Resurrection Joe? And then they're like, well, now that you're in too deep, we'll just say you did it, and now we're all in this together. Now we gotta bunk up, and we're on the run and doing no good things. And yeah, eventually there's like essentially a shootout.
There is.
But so I think this movie is actually very entertaining. It's definitely the best movie of the whole box set, like hands down. Despite the misleading title, it's just like a cool little story of like, oh, this is like this fictional tale of the invention of anesthetics and depicting medical horror, I guess, and like how people are trying to discover things. It's like, that's neat. I feel like Netflix has done now that as a TV show, essentially, about early days of surgery. That was it. That David Fincher
is that
show?
What the Nick or whatever?
Yes.
Is that the show?
Yeah, it's like, this is like 1958. I'm not sure what the market was like for that sort of story, but this is like, this is a period drama. But this movie's gorgeous. Like all of the 3 Robert Day movies we've watched, this one looks so nice. Like just like, I'm not sure if it's maybe just like a restoration. I'm not sure who actually was the cinematographer. It's Jeffrey Faithful.
Jeffrey Faithful.
Jeffrey Faithful.
Is that a real name, Jarrett?
It is. That's the name right there.
Are you fucking with me right now?
I am not. I would dare not do that.
Jeffrey Faithful.
He kind of looks like he actually made this toward the end of his career in the industry. Oh, he actually. Oh, look at that. He also shot Village of the Damned.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
The good one, right?
Yeah.
Not the bad one.
The one with Mark Hamill.
Oh, as the village.
As the village.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no. I think this movie is very decent. I don't know what you want to call it beyond that, but I mean, even in terms of like Criterions, it's better than most of the ones that we've been watching for the last, I don't know,
2 years,
60 spine numbers.
The last 2 years or so, give or take.
Give or take.
Yep.
But, yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I think, if you're gonna watch one, and I don't know if you're gonna watch any, but if you're gonna watch one, this one's like decent. It's good.
Yes. I agree with the sentiments that you said. Yeah, I thought this was cool too. I liked it, and it's like what I said earlier. I think it's just misrepresented.
Yeah.
Because like, is there like horrific stuff in this? Yeah, I guess. Like, this might have been really spooky to like dudes in like the 50s. They were like, oh, surgery. But I do think it is a really cool story. Like, who was it? When I was trying to look up, when I was pulling up the reviews for Who Hates, I just pulled the page up, so I have it here. I don't actually read them, but I saw a review from, I think, friend of the show, maybe it was Jared Berger or someone, but they were like, remake this like Requiem for a Dream, and I was like, that'd be pretty cool. And I know what you said, like they kind of did the Nick. I never seen that show though. So
me neither.
I know it was popular to some people. I don't know, but I do think it is an interesting story because there's got to be some truth to it, right? Like they were just cutting people's arms off, and then one day someone was like, "Hey, maybe we like put these people unconscious."
Hey RJ, you ever seen a movie called Master and Commander?
Oh, I have seen a movie called Master and Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hey,
which is also good stuff.
If you ever watched a little web series, Star Trek Continues. And there's the episode where Dr. McCoy's consciousness goes back to the Civil War, And he's like, I just spent the last 2 days hacking men up. I'll never be the same.
Which is good stuff, man.
Yeah. Remember Brad Dourif having PTSD from all the horrific surgeries he had to perform in Deadwood from his Civil War days?
I do remember that, but Brad Dourif was a doctor in a Creeptober movie I watched. Oh. Night Watch.
There you go.
I didn't mention that. Anyways, yeah, I know all about that stuff, but I do like the doctor story, and I do like I like how it's presented, where it's just like all these people are like, boo. They're like, we don't need your medicine. Like all the other doctors, they're like, surgery is painful and it always will be.
Yeah, we like it that way.
I got screenshots where it's just like, you can't have surgery without screaming. It's like, there's nothing about this that isn't painful, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, whoa. All right,
but I'm sure that's how people were. Yeah, like Doug Bradley's in the background. He's like, no, boo.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how well researched this film is, but considering the ridiculous things people say to this day, it's like, yeah, sure, they said that back then too, because they didn't know how to get around it. Be like, yeah, that's part of it. We can't start telling patients there's another way, because we don't even know what that is.
I think I think that's spot on. It's like people back then were doing stuff now. It's like, oh no, don't do that. Just cut an onion, put the onion to the wound, the half onion, that'll pull the demon out of your body, and you're just like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So I did like that. I thought that was all good. I thought his character was like you feel for him. He's just like a nice old man. Like, so I got a couple pictures of him, and like he kind of reminds me of my grandpa. Like he kind of looks like what my grandpa looked like. Like I think it's his head or something. But then I was looking too, and I was like, wait a minute, old Boris Karloff kind of looks like Mel Gibson as well. Which my grandpa didn't look like Mel Gibson, but I'm gonna send you this picture, and I was like, this guy kind of looks like Mel Gibson, but also kind of looks like my grandpa. I think this is what Mel Gibson's gonna look like in another 20 years. Is my point. But I liked that. I was like, that's cool. But I liked his story. I like that it's just him. Like I liked his little snorkel setup of him just trying his
having a hoot.
He's having a rip off of his little hookah pipe. He's just like, I like that. Coffin Joe.
I think it's not so much he looks like Mel Gibson, but definitely his hair.
It's the hair. See, that's what it is. Because his face looks like my grandpa's face, kind of. I think, at least, a little bit. And it's something about the ears. Because where's Karloff from?
England. He's English. Despite the name Boris Karloff. He was born William Henry Pratt.
Oh, okay. He wasn't like...
He's not a Hungarian or...
He's not Hungarian like Bela Lugosi?
Yeah, correct.
Romania was like the lines, the border lines, Jarrett. The border lines between Romania and Hungary changed.
It didn't matter. It was old-timey.
Yeah, old-time countries. But I don't know what was I talking about. Yeah, no, I like this. I do think this was it was definitely the best out of all four. Yes. But like without question. But I did like it. It was kind of like it was a nice story, and I liked how it was played out, and I was like, I'm on board with this. I do think you get some cool stuff too. Like some of the surgery scenes are pretty gnarly, like cutting off that little girl's leg and stuff. You're just like, because you see it coming like from the instant that little girl is introduced. You're like, they're gonna be cutting that girl's leg off, aren't they? And then they do. And then I do like how his surgery was getting sloppy, and then that's like horrifying too, kind of like they're just watching, and the doctors are like, holy shit, he's gonna kill him. And it's like he's been operating for like 2 hours. And then I do like one of the characters' deaths from the building when he's climbing and he falls, and he's dead real good. Oh yeah. And I was like, that's cool. So that was good too. Quarters of Blood is pretty good. I just think it's not a horror movie.
Yeah, you'll notice that I did not watch it during Creeptober proper.
I know it's that, but it was the first time for me.
Yeah.
And the title was Corridors of Blood.
And
so it's like,
yeah, you see, you got bamboozled, old time style.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I do think there's some cool, like, I think it's a cool movie, but it's not quite a horror movie. That's all.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's good. It's just like, oh, like I would watch this. I mean, I don't think it's weird because it's like where it is, the amalgamated films. This movie was a flop, I believe, and it was the last production of the studio. So maybe don't label your movie that's a medical drama as a horror film. Maybe people will go, "What the fuck?"
The horror fans aren't satisfied, and the people who would like this movie maybe aren't watching horror movies. You know.
That's right. That's right.
Where do you rank this between this and General Idi Amin Adada?
What?
Where do you rank this between out of all the movies we watched? Is it better than Idi Amin, or is it worse?
Not as good.
Not as good. Okay,
yeah.
I have it under Idi Amin as well.
Okay. Yeah, I want to say not. I think generally you mean Dada has had more of a cultural impact, at least on this podcast, in terms of a man going, having a laugh, chuckling. What do you mean?
I do know.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I just realized a lot of my Idi Amin pictures have disappeared from my drive because I would reuse those pictures. Where did they go?
You have to watch it again. Take some new ones.
Those were incredible screen caps.
Yeah.
Incredible. Oh yeah, I was just wondering.
Do you want to hear from people who hate these movies, RJ?
I mean, why would you care enough?
Why?
You know what I mean?
Well, people. We'll see. Let's see. What do people have to observe?
Yeah.
Noah Arbor, 1 star.
Okay.
I know you need to have a bit more patience with horror from this era, but The Haunted Strangler is one of the most boring horror films. There is no suspense. The sets, cinematography, characters, and pacing is all just dull as hell. The backstory is cool, but it just doesn't feel like it goes anywhere. With the 1950s being dominated by Hammer horror and Universal monsters, no. This is entirely forgettable. It's like, well, Hammer horror didn't really kick off till the
late 60s.
The end of the 50s. It's like was it the horror of Dracula is like 57, 58. So I don't know. They're concurrent though. They have a point, and Universal was dead by this point. Yeah. But I get it. I understand the sentiment. That's like, yeah, there's this better. Like if you're gonna watch 1950s horror or just watch the sci-fi stuff. There's fun. There's more fun things you could watch too. This exists. This Haunted Strangler.
Noah Arbor is from Australia.
Crikey.
Autumn Sonata, Breaker Morant, Fabius Baron Munchausen, Human Condition.
Wow, those are big ticket movies.
Big ticket. Half-star films include Quarantine and Texas Chainsaw 3D,
which I also watched this month. And
I know you did. Is it a half a star film?
No, it's not good, but they baby-faced Leatherface, RJ.
Like he's cute and like.
Well, no, they in wrestling, there's like heel turns, face turns. Well, Leatherface winds up becoming a good guy by the end.
Oh.
No, after he's eviscerated many people.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's like Corridors of Blood.
How about BK Shells of Doom, 1.5 stars?
Is this for... Oh, okay.
Why on earth did Boris Karloff's wife think it was a good idea to smuggle a murderous asylum inmate home and marry him? Was he actually the original Strangler? Was he possessed? I feel like even the movie didn't know.
They might not have.
No. Also, if that's truly what can performances are like, I am unimpressed. Literally, ladies just standing around holding their skirts over their heads. Oh, there's a fair bit of kicking.
There was lots of kicking.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe it's defined as a high energy dance. These ladies seem to be doing all those things. They look like professional dancers, that were doing like movies like this.
They might have been.
Have been. or not. They just showed up and they went, "Hey, I got an idea. We've had this Judas whole thing and we haven't had anything to fill it. We didn't know what it was going to be, but you know what? I knew my brother-in-law, He knows some can dancers.
We get him in ya. Oh. Like that?
Like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And for a corridor, or unless you want to tell me about VK shelves.
It's Bookshelves of Doom. It's a website, and they sell books. It seems like seems kind of like a Valancourt.
You're saying this isn't Brian K. Shelves of Doom?
I thought it was Burger King Shelves of Doom.
Yeah.
But it looks like a website. Is what it's not a person.
Okay.
One of their favorite films is The Love Witch.
Oh, fuck.
So
hope they go to business.
So, I mean, like, you know, like Valancourt does that Paperbacks of Hell, and it's like I feel like those guys have kind of cornered that market, the niche underground.
So wait, they're a book publisher?
Well, it's just a website that's just like their bio is a link to their website, and it's just a bunch of books.
Like they're selling like, are they a book publisher or are they like a bookstore?
Let's see. Let's go to home. I think just a store.
Okay. Well, that's the Valancourt Books. I mean, that's a publisher.
Wait. Short version. I've been talking young adult fiction, currently shelving.
Yeah, they're bookstore.
Yeah, just books.
Okay.
Or maybe this is a blog. Fuck, I don't know. I was just saying, like, I just went to this website. I saw a bunch of, like, horror books, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of space to do whatever you want to do, I guess.
I think this might be a blog.
Oh, well.
I didn't realize
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a blog.
RJ figured it out.
I got him.
It's a blog.
It's a blog.
Okay. Corridors of Blood. Yep. The people who hate this film somehow. Brandy Stoddard. I don't know if we've had too many Brandy on here.
I don't know, maybe.
1 star. 1840s Britain seems like a real shithole. No anesthesia, sick people everywhere, and nonstop concertina music in every pub. Boris is cool, but Chris has like 3 lines and chases a wench around, and whatever with the title.
I kind of like that review, but I mean, what place in 1840 wasn't all shit? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, this all is like a nightmarescape to RJ.
I do like that. They just watched Apostle, which I watched, and I kind of like this review. Made it halfway through and realized I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't care. Super boring.
Is that a haha same for you?
No, I mean, that movie, it's so-so. Some of it's really good. Some of it's not good. So, and it's 100% too long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle.
Okay. How about Gavin Kellman, 1 star? Right. Well-made horror with a good turn by its aging star. Full of solid moments and dark scenes. Engaging from the start. This person didn't watch this movie.
I have something to say about Gavin Kellman.
And let me point out, this is a 1-star review.
1 star to them means run of the mill.
Oh.
So that's not even that bad.
Okay. But it's a well-made horror film, RJ.
Apparently. Here's their bio. For at least 20 years, I have devoted myself to the study of film. As a hobby, I watch and review movies.
RJ's doing the General Akari hands.
I have a wide knowledge of film history with interests in silent and world cinema. Outside of film, I am currently studying photography. I am also a co-author of a cookbook.
What other takes they got? What are the 5 stars for this person?
Well, their top ones are Cinema Paradiso, Bride of Frankenstein, Bicycle Thieves, and Gold Rush. And
that I feel like is awful.
I feel like they just saw the Edgar Wright post, and they just took 5 or 4. What else we got in here? Gigi, the Red Turtle. These are 5 stars. Maltese Falcon, La Strada.
Hey, think how good they'll be in 20 years more of studying film.
20 years studying film. Oh, they one-starred Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. Jarrett, they one-starred Babe.
Okay, that's like
Babe.
Gavin. Come on, bud.
One-starred Halloween.
Hey,
the real one.
I got a quick little anecdote for you.
Yeah.
So you know what I was prepared to watch?
Why?
Nightmare on Elm Street 2010.
What happened?
It was streaming. It was available. I click on it, and it's the 1982 version of the movie, or 84, whatever it is. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, there it was.
I mean, I have it. I would have lent it to you.
I mean, it was just an impulse thing where I went, holy shit,
Yeah.
there it is. And then I went to watch it, and they had the wrong file there, and they say they have it. And it's like, well, I mean, I know it's not going to be good, but I wanted to watch it. I wanted to get it crossed off my list.
I've noticed some weird things lately. There's a lot of stuff that says it's available on Amazon Prime, and then when I on Just Watch, and then when I put or on Shudder, which is owned by Amazon, I'll pull it up on Amazon Prime, and it's like it's like sign in to Prime to watch, and then it's like I am on Prime, and then it's like unable to watch, and I was like, what is going on? Something weird going on with the streamers, Jarrett.
One last one.
Okay.
Cinema Bulb.
1.5
stars. October is Monster Movie Month. A pretty boring Karloff vehicle. It was an interesting take on the creation of anesthesia and addiction, which I thought was the best part of film. Karloff is a lot more calmer than previous MGM Universal horror flicks like The Body Snatcher or The Mummy. Well, that's like the RKO, which, come on. It's nothing special, but I enjoyed it for its monster Halloween feeling to it. I guess if you are a huge Karloff fan, watch it.
Okay, nobody is a huge Karloff fan. I mean, he seems like a nice guy, but...
Look, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but...
There's no Karloff stands out there. Just trust me. And it's not... I don't understand why he keeps saying monster. There's no monsters in this. Not, like... favorite films... Godfather, The Thing, Scarface, and Heat. Real movies there, hey?
Only real movies.
Half-star films include only 5 of them, and 3 of them have George Clooney in it. So, just not a George Clooney person, I guess.
Oh, Cinema Bulb.
Oh, they also one-starred a George Clooney film. They one-starred Blackcoat's daughter. That's not good.
No.
It's not good at all.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Some people clearly don't even watch the movies that they are reviewing.
I understand that.
Oh my God. Except for Brandy. Brandy watched it.
Brandy watched it.
Yeah. I think 1 star is harsh.
Well, to Brandy was the one that said 1 star was like okay though, right?
No, that was I believe Gavin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Monsters and Madmen or either of these 2 films? Life. Flim Flam.
No.
No, because it's late.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good. Very well. After the break, the cops shoot us dead, and or how about this? We get axed by Christopher Lee and die, kind of like strung out, but like knowing, I had it coming.
Is that going to be a hammer or a universal?
Karloff style. It'll be the new hammer that doesn't exist anymore.
Hammer?
Remember when that Woman in Black movie came out with Harry Potter and everyone was like super stoked on it, and it was like, oh man, it's a new era of horror, and that's been the end of it again.
Maybe you could bring back Hammer.
Maybe I could bring back Hammer.
King of the Monsters. I'm looking at him.
Starring Raymond Burr.
Well, you know.
He's going to fight Karloff.
You might.